I want to deep dive a little bit before we get into this Shanquella situation. Shout out to B. Shout out to B. B says, as I get older, I get wiser from my experience or from experience. You just know what a setup feels like. My spidey senses will tingle. Well, not all the time, B. Not all the time, B. And let me tell you why not all the time. Okay? Not all the time because your spidey senses do tingle, but your environment and the ways in which you've been conditioned to think then sometimes crowd or cloud your judgment, and then you then go about doing things a completely different way. So let's talk about it real quick. All right, so let's deep dive into it. Make sure that you share this with your friends. Follow me on Twitter, follow me on Facebook, follow me on TikTok and Instagram. All of those links are in the description. And so I think that, for example, in my case, right, when I first got, when I got robbed a long time ago, and it's on my channel, on the Anton Daniels channel, y'all can tap into that. When I got robbed a long time ago, the idea that they were friends, you go over and above and beyond for the people that you think closely aligns with you. I mean, you give without expectation. You largely put on the back burner the idea behind the business or how will this affect me, because you're willing to make the sacrifices for the people that you love. And so, for example, in my case, and we're going to get into the videos, in my case, for example, right, these were guys that grew up with me. These were guys that my parents raised. They slept in my house. We played basketball together in my backyard. My father built a half court for us. We played at the Johnson Center, which was a recreation center that was on Cherry Lawn and Chippewa between 7 Mile and 8 Mile. And then without further ado, they had a gun in my face. And thank God I dropped my wife off, my new wife off, prior to me actually going there. And they had no mask on. And so my instinct said they were going to kill me, because there's no way that they were going to just rob me. And I knew who they were and they knew where I lived and so on and so forth, right? And I got out by the hairs on the skin of my chinny chin, right? And so, yes, your spidey senses tingled. Now, my spidey senses tingled, but my spidey senses said, yo, Rita shouldn't even be out this late. Take her home and then go take care of your business. But your spidey senses were still tingling, and you largely ignore that. And sometimes, let's just be honest, sometimes we don't even see it coming. We don't even see it coming, right? I'll give you an example. I'll give you another example before we start to deep dive into this. Everybody knows, and I'm never one to shy away from highlighting my accomplishments, because everybody wants to. And I'm going to tell you why I always highlight some of the things. It's not even the tip of the iceberg of some of the things that I really do get into. But I have no problem with celebrating myself, because people want to celebrate you after you die. Fuck that. I want my flowers now. The dead can't hear you. I don't care what they tell you. I don't care how many seances they do. I don't care if they tell you your ancestors looking over you. If that's the case, then black people should be winning 10 times over, because their ancestors went through more than any other, in my opinion, ancestors in the last 500, 600, 700 years. The dead can't hear you. The dead buries the dead. Let the dead bury the dead. That's what the words say. They can't hear you, fam. And so even the words say, yo, acknowledge them, give them their flowers now, because it's nothing you can do when they're gone. And so I have no problem with taking my flowers. I'm not waiting on nobody to give me no credit. And so when somebody says something, I'm going to combat it more often than not so much anymore, because you just kind of remove yourself from those circles. But I'm going to combat it by saying, but wait a minute. You don't remember when you was nothing and I found you and then I built you up and I made you great, and now you got too big for your britches, and now it is what it is. And now I'm not looking for no credit. And you know how I'm not looking for no credit? Because I never, ever ask anything from anybody. I went and got the resources, and then I bring them back to the people, which is one of the reasons why we got the bag chasers. You go get the resources, and then you bring it back to the people, right? And so you give without expectation, but you're not going to kill my name on top of it. Thank God we got these little boxes on the internet, because If it was up to some of these people, we might be in Cabo and I might be getting beat up and jumped. Because there's people even on these platforms. A lot of people say that YouTube ain't real, but YouTube is realer than you know. And let me tell you why the internet and social media is realer than you know. Because the internet and social media actually brings out the real you. It brings out the real feelings between people. And so when you see people, because Shanquella, they were largely able to hide what they thought about her and then set her up because they had her in person. But a lot of times you can see who people truly are because they express what their feelings are about you without even knowing that they really doing it. Their actions. I say love is an action. It's not a feeling. It's not an emotion. It's an action. And so when you see how they move, when they get a little bit more, even though you've been doing things to make sure that they've been taken care of, you see the nature of who people truly are. And I'm not even just talking about online on the internet. I'm saying that online and the internet is a benefit for us to be able to see the true intentions of people without having to deal with them in person. Think about that for a minute. I'm the type of dude that have paid for people's funerals, got their lights cut back on and paid for their utilities. Giving without expectation. I did a Build a Business series last year, and I'm planning on doing it in the beginning of next year for the Bag Chasers. Shout out to my Patreon members. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. And I gave without any contract, paperwork, signing. I am not a shareholder in any of the businesses that I funded. I'm not a shareholder in any of the businesses that I funded from the Build a Business series that y'all looked at inside of the Patreon that's still up to date. It was from here. And so my loyalty is that and a reflection of the thing that I read because the word is a living word. And so if I'm to be Christ-like, that means I need to be like Jesus and God. And so although I'm not perfect, he said, I loved you first. So I exhibit those same characteristics and I say, I love you first. I'm going to pour into you first. I'm going to look out for you first. But it does not mean that you're not going to get a Judas. And it does not mean that Judas does not have a purpose. And so when you see certain things happen, sometimes you cannot avoid it. You just may be the sacrificial lamb that they're using in order to get a point across. Let me give you an example. I'm going to give you an example. Watch this, right? Let me share my screen with you. It breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. This new footage is surfaced. And in this footage, right, Shanquella is walking around trying to find her friends, looking to go party in Cabo, which is one of the reasons that she thought she was there. Let's play the footage and let's see what her thoughts were.
It don't take that long to get naked. It don't take that long to get naked, hoes. Where y'all at?
She walking around trying to find her friends. They setting her up.
She told me I'm gonna keep it hot. You gonna keep it hot? What?
I would keep my hot bathing suits that I don't want to wear because it's cute as fuck.
They what Go said they croup.
Yeah. the one that's like mediocre is in my check-ins. I can't wear them.
These is her friends, y'all. Think about this for a minute. These are her friends. Now, in hindsight, these hoes and ladyboys was setting this chick up behind her back to make sure that she was going to be an example. Listen, I'm not one to do it for money, so I'm definitely going to make sure that I go ahead and play the video because if you are sensitive, then you may not want to see. It is blurred out, so it's not that bad, but it's still violent. And so I do want to share this and I want to animate this and I want to express my thoughts a little bit differently than sitting up here on this platform in this chair having a conversation with you. I really want to get in this because it's a lot of fake people out here in these streets. It's fake people in real life. They gonna trade on you. It's fake people on the internet. They gonna trade on you. And so when I see the real ones, like I see Q, shout out to Island Girl Q. She is loyal. And then people say, Anton, why do you like Island Girl Q so much? Because we rock with each other in real life. And when you see the real ones, you don't change up. Think about this for a minute. It's a lot of people that has come and gone from the Lapeef network that has gone on to trade against us, to do their own thing, to use us in order to build themselves up, which we don't mind. We know that come with the game. We're cool with that. We actually look for you to promote yourself. But then they go and then they try to kill your name when in reality, you never would have even known about them if it wasn't for us. They were just specks and dusts on our table. And we use what we did from the very beginning. You actually got to understand, and I don't really even say this much, but I'm the real godfather of this shit. I was at 50, 60,000 subscribers before we ever created the Lapeef network. I used my following and my platform to build another platform, and then to build another platform, and then to build another platform, and then give the people a voice so that they can go on and do their own thing and get their own bag without any kind of reservation or contracts in which they are required to give me anything. They own 100% of everything that they want. But see, this is why them little hat people wind up putting y'all in them contracts, because you fuck them over and they have no recourse. At least if you're going to kill my name, you're not going to take everything. I don't want to make this about me. This is about Shanquella. I could just relate, and I want you to be able to see the snakes in the grass and keep your grass low so that you can see them slithering through.